problem with prayer. Right, let's get to it. It's time for your message from the morning man. Now, the one thing I will always remember my Uncle Sammy for is his quick temper. Everything used to set him off. And there wasn't a single day that he didn't get upset and yell at one person or the other. And the funniest thing was that he would always mutter under his breath, "God, give me patience. God, give me patience. God, give me patience." And then he would explode. Now, as far as I'm aware, he never once found the patience that he prayed for. He died at 51 of hypertension. Now, I always wondered why God never answered his prayer for patience. But as I grew, I started to mutter a few prayers of my own and discovered a rather fascinating pattern. Whenever I prayed to God for faith, he would rather put me in situations that almost convinced me that he didn't exist. Whenever I prayed for money, I would suddenly find myself facing the biggest bills and debts ever. Whenever I prayed for courage, I would suddenly find myself facing the most terrifying obstacles. I remember how worried I got in 2007 when I suddenly started losing weight while feeling extremely thirsty and uncontrollably weak. I remember one night I lay in bed, I closed my eyes, I had tears streaming down my face as I begged God to heal me. The following day, I fell into a coma and I was taken to hospital and didn't come home for almost half a year. That's how I discovered I was diabetic. Now, each time I prayed for something and got what appeared to be the exact opposite, I remembered my Uncle Sammy. And it baffled me that a God who loved us would not only refuse to answer our prayers, but actually give us the opposite of what we asked for. What was the idea? I mean, if he won't give me what I asked for, fair enough, but he knows best. But why give me the opposite of what I asked for? What was that about? As with most existential questions, the answer came to me from an unlikely source. Not so long ago, I was watching the hilarious comedy Evan Almighty, starring Steve Carell as Evan, a U.S. congressman who receives some frankly ridiculous instructions from God, played impeccably in this movie by the amazing Morgan Freeman. Now, of course, the seemingly preposterous nature of God's instructions in this movie to build an ark in the middle of the Washington suburbs ends up testing not only Evan's faith, but that of his wife and his sons. So at some point in the narrative, God has a quiet word with Evan's wife, who, of course, in this movie does not know that she's talking to God, right? And she, at this point, is doubting the existence of God and the sanity of her husband, who has started building the ark. And to give her some perspective, God says something rather profound. He says, "Let me ask you something. If someone prays for patience, do you think God gives them patience? Or does he give them the opportunity to be patient? If he prays for courage, does God give him courage? Or does he give him opportunities to be courageous? If someone prays for the family to be closer together, do you think God zaps them with warm, fuzzy feelings, or does he give them opportunities to love each other?" So I guess for me, there it was, my answer. I had asked for faith, and he had put me in situations where I was forced to believe. I asked for money, and he sent me gargantuan bills, so I had no option but to work hard and make more money than ever, just so I could pay them. I asked for good health. He made sure that by the time I came out of that hospital, I would never take my health for granted ever again. I asked for courage, so he fed me to the monsters. Because he had already given me all the courage I could ever need. All I needed were the right conditions for my courage to manifest itself. So today, I want you to do a prayer audit, if you like. First, think about all the things you have been praying for. Second, understand that God has given you everything you will ever need to answer those prayers. And third, understand that your current circumstances, no matter how dire and distressing they are, these are simply opportunities to do what God has created you to do, and that is to dominate. My name is Kojo Yankson, and God answered all of my prayers when he created me. Now, all I pray for are opportunities to prove it. Good morning, Ghana.